Welcome back to Teresa's Dead. My name is Teresa and I'm very much Hi, how are you? I have an awful garbage filthy mouth, so viewer discretion is advised, but if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to X out the video here, no harm, no foul, but I'll remember our time fondly. Okay. Hands cam. We all love good hands cam. Hi. So I have a lot of makeup, right? I have a lot of makeup and I have even more makeup now. And I started looking at some of the stuff in my collection and I was like, you know what? It's time for you to go. So in today's video, we are going to be doing a good old fashioned declutter, but we're going to focus on only eyeshadow palettes. I feel like it's going to be a really big video when I declutter my blushes. And I kind of need to like sit and think about the ones that I need to like either throw out or give away or whatever. Just a couple of things. I feel like I always have to do this, but like it's really important because people are weird and creepy. Any of the makeup that I am showing in today's video is either going to go to the trash or a good home, okay? So this makeup is either spoken for by the trash or a home. Please don't be a weirdo and beg in the comments like, I want your makeup. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Don't be you, okay? You do that on other people's videos. You don't do that here. Also, if some of these products that I don't know, talk about how much I hate them, but you like them, that is totally fine. It's all good to have different opinions. Remember, everyone's allowed to have their opinion about something. What may work for you may not work for me and vice versa. So again, don't get all weird and like brand loyalist in the comments. Nobody cares. And you're wasting your time. You could take that energy and go touch grass. Okay. Anything else I have to say? Oh, sit back and relax, enjoy yourself. But before we do that, a word from today's sponsor. Thank you again to Factor for sponsoring today's video. I have been talking about Factor for the past couple of months, and when I tell you they're a game changer, baby, they are a game changer. Especially if you're looking for something delicious, fast, and good for you. I adore Factor because it's quick and easy and a staple if you're clean eating. No need to go to the grocery store, meandering through the aisles, trying to figure out what to eat. You can skip playing Chopped in the kitchen because what is waiting for you is a fresh, never frozen meal full of flavor and quality, ready to devour in just 2 minutes. I'm a busy working lady, clearly. Look at me. I look very business casual today. And even though I live in Florida, I'm still very much a New Yorker, meaning when I want it now. So the fact that I can get something super delicious for a fraction of the price I would waste on takeout, and a fraction of the time it would take to make its way to me is priceless. What is also great about Factor is its variety and flexibility, as well as their add-on options. They have a lot. You can choose from over 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options, and you could choose how many meals you want to receive during the week. Alex and I will be traveling a lot this summer. I know, who are we? People that actually want to go outside? I know. Who would have thought? So it's nice that I can skip a week to accommodate our schedule. Ever since discovering Factor, this has been my go-to for lunch. And dare I say, it pairs perfectly when watching Vanderpump Rules. Also, they have really delicious smoothies, which make for a great afternoon snack. Especially around 3 o'clock when I'm really hangry, they come in clutch. Ew, I just said that, but whatever, they do. They come in clutch. I'm hip. This June, get Factor and enjoy clean eating without the hassle. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code Teresa'sDead50 for 50% off your first box. Again, that's factor75.com or click the link below and use the code Teresa'sDead50 to get 50% off your first box. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring today's video, and y'all go support the sponsors that support your garbage queen. Now that you got your snack and or meal, I love how it's and or meal. Now that you got your 3-course buffet. Oh God. Okay, let's start with decluttering all the nonsense. Now, some of the stuff that I genuinely liked, and then some of the stuff started to become a science project. And I'll explain. I don't think it's a decluttering video unless I declutter Pat McGrath. And you know, I still have a lot of Pat McGrath palettes, but this one I just don't use. But it still has some vitality, it still has some longevity left. And this is actually one of my favorite palettes that she ever did. This is the Christmas palette from 85 years ago, and it's honestly, even touching the shadows, they're still soft and buttery and smooth and incredibly pigmented. But it's just a color story I really don't reach for. And I know it could still live on somewhere else, but this was a great palette. It continues to be a great palette. It's just I have things in my collection that I love more than this one. But we did have a good time. And for that, I say thank you for your service. I don't even know why I got this. I feel like I do that with Tarte palettes where I'm like, yeah, this totally makes sense. And I'm like, why the fuck did I get this? So this is the Tartelette Full Bloom palette. I mean, she's a basic on top of basic on top of basic on top of basic. I have these colors, and in formula that I really gravitate towards, like, this is a fine palette. It wasn't like anything that was like, oh my god, this is like shit your pants amazing, but it wasn't the worst palette I've ever tried. It's kind of mediocre, dare I say. Sometimes Tarte really knows what they're doing and knocks it out of the park. This is one of those that it was like, I just exist. Like, I'm just here, and I hate that I paid full price for this. So anyway, this is gonna live on somewhere else. Now this palette's old enough to vote, I'm sure. This is the Pro Remix palette. And I think I was the only person that liked this palette. I was the only person that was like, hey, you know what? This isn't bad. Love that lenticular cover. I think that's really cool. And I remember Hannah from Smoky Glow was like, I hate the background. It's too distracting. And I was like, I kind of like it. I don't know. I felt like I was the only person that liked it. And then there was a lot of other people that also shared her same sentiment. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a rebel. I like this palette. I really did. I really did like this palette, but I've had it for a while and pigmentation's not there. It's very lackluster. So I was like, you know what? It's time for you to be excommunicated from this world. Just go back into hell where you belong. So anyway, I enjoyed this, and I think I was the only one. It's not a decluttering video until there's also Natasha Denona. So this is the face palette, the Glam face palette that came out for the holidays, maybe 2 years ago or so. I hate this. Like, the top part is like garbage, and I never could make it work. I love the eyeshadows. The eyeshadows were fine, but they're the kind of eyeshadows that I already have 75 fucking times over, especially in Natasha Denona formula. Think of the Biba palette or the mini nude palette. I could keep going on. So I was like, there's nothing really special or unique about the shades. They're just really, really good. I hated the cream formula for the blush. Didn't really feel like it did anything. It kind of disappeared after a little bit. And the highlighter was just okay, which makes me super sad because I love highlighter and I want to look like a glowy slut. And I didn't feel like that was the case here. So anyway, this is going to go to a good home because there is still some life in those eyeshadows. And hey, maybe my friend might find some luck in those two top products, but I sure as fuck didn't. So bye. Okay, so listen, by the way, Glamlite finally came to my house. So I ordered the Scooby-Doo collection the day that it launched, and it showed up not that long ago. I love their shipping. So I will have a video of that collection, which I'm pretty sure y'all don't really give a shit about because everyone put their videos up. But mine just took, obviously a carrier pigeon fucking took it to my house. But anyways, expect a video of that nature next week. That said, I don't know what's going on with this brand for me, but like they miss the mark every time. And I specifically do not like this palette. At first I thought it was okay. I was like, okay, this isn't the worst palette I've ever tried from Glamlite. I love Strawberry Shortcake. I'm a child of the 80s. I'm like, this is my cup of tea. But the more I use it, the more I realize two things that I really, really hate it. One, this shit stains so badly on my skin to the point where it looks like somebody kicked the shit out of me, okay? I can't be walking around looking like that, okay? No. And then the other thing is that the shimmers are it's weird, like they're sparkly, but they fade. They're definitely the worst shimmers I've tried from this brand. I have tried other shimmers from other palettes that were pretty good, but there's something about this one. I find that like, ooh, it looks really good upon initial application. And then like 2 hours later, I'm like, where the fuck is the glow? Where is the shimmer? It's like loose glitter particle butthole pieces. I don't like it. It's like butthole dust. I hate it. So I was like, you know what? This could live on somewhere else, just not in my home. Technically, this palette's old enough to vote. So this is the Prism palette. Do you remember this palette? I love this palette. I loved it so much. It has seen better days, okay? It has seen better days. And I love the shit out of this palette. And it's just, yeah, the quality's just not there anymore. And I think this technically had a 6-month shelf life. So this is really... This is really old, okay? But anyway, I love this. I used to really love this brand's formula. And then it kind of, I don't know what happened to them. I think they just put out too much stuff and it kind of just got really messy. And now they really, really suck. So I did see that they do have a new palette out. I don't care, fuck that palette. But yeah, this one was I feel like their height of their success, and they just have in my opinion, just went downhill. But I enjoyed this palette and I'm sad to let this one go. And I think I might actually steal that brush, but I was sad to let this go because I really love this weird ass color story. But when I look into my collection now, I have colors that kind of match this. So it's not like I'm giving up Prism completely. It's just living on in other palettes. which another ABH palette that this one actually I thoroughly enjoyed, but I just don't use it. I don't gravitate towards it. This is the ooh, I almost dropped that. The ABH Norvina palette. Not the ABH Norvina palette, the Norvina, I forget, whatever. When they came out with these big fucking palettes. This one was good. I liked it. I had no problem with it. It's just too big, it's cumbersome, and I know that this still has some juice left and it can go to a good home where they will use and abuse it. But I had no problem with this. It's funny, when it came to the bigger palettes, I had actually a fair amount of them, and I wound up decluttering all of them because I never felt the quality was really good. I think this is the best out of the big palette, in my opinion. Haha, never mind, one of the shadows just busted. Okay. Oh, gross. Gross. Okay, well, we're gonna clean that up. Sorry. I gotta apologize to my friend in advance for that one. All right, I'm just gonna put, okay, you're gonna, all right, bye. Okay, welcome back. The next palette is from Koki. This was a good palette. I really enjoyed it. This is the artist palette Utopia. It is, okay, really? Oh, okay. Needless to say, you can see why I'm decluttering it. This is impossible to open. It's impossible. This is like a magic trick. I don't know how to open it. Let's see, can I just, okay. I know, right? All that for that. You're like, oh, this could be a good palette. I mean, it's a basic bitch palette. The formula is good, but it's not the best thing I've ever tried. And I think in terms of drugstore specifically, this is like middle of the road. So anyway, I did enjoy it when I did play with it, but I feel like I've just been really obsessed with Jason Wu shadows as of late. And that's where I'm spending most of my time when it comes to drugstore. We got some Kim Kardashian. I fucking can. Okay, so here are some palettes. You know, I'm just kind of, I feel weird because like I kind of want to keep these, but I'm just not really using them, and I know that they can go to a better home. So this one is, I think this is the classic palette. I don't know, I forget the fucking names of it, but I really enjoyed the formula. I've always enjoyed the KKW way more than Kylie Cosmetics. These palettes are really fantastic. They're really good basic bitch neutral palettes. And then you have the camo one, that weird one where she had like no pants on, and she like blended into the carpet. It was really weird campaign photos in my opinion. This was a pretty good green palette. There were some things that I liked about it, something that I didn't like about it. But I think overall, I, again, have these colors and formula that I really just like more. But yeah, I kind of feel weird getting rid of this, but this brand doesn't really exist right now. And I don't know when it's coming back, what kind of form it's going to be. So I feel like I should hold on to these, but I know my friend will like these a lot more. Another ABH classic. This is the Primrose palette. This was, it was all right. Scared the shit out of me. Okay. This one was okay. I think this was probably one of my least favorite color stories from ABH. And the quality was fine. You know, like it's kind of one of those palettes where it's just okay. There wasn't anything super special about it. I think the packaging is far nicer than the contents of the palette. They're just colors that I don't really reach for. And for that, I say you'll get a good home somewhere else. This is the brunette palette from Melt Cosmetics. I have another Melt Cosmetics palette that we're going to be decluttering too. But this one started to kind of get a little funky on me. I really thoroughly enjoyed this one. I love this as a basic bitch option. I've always enjoyed the formula, but it started to kind of get a little weird. And I don't like the texture that some of the shadows have become. They're kind of really, I don't know how to explain it, like very sandpapery. It's very fucking weird. And I feel like the payoff is not as good as it used to be. This one's going in the trash. I can't salvage this one. I would hate to pass this off as a weapon. Which then comes to this one, Gemini 2, which is more of a chemical weapon. So, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but this one has some, something a little bit extra to the palette. Now, I've been told that this is Wax Bloom. Still, I just don't want to put it to my face. And to be honest with you, this palette was fine. It's not the Gemini palette. The Gemini palette is like a fucking, I don't know, that is like one of the best palettes ever. This one was just fine. This was like a shitty sequel, if anything. That's what's just so interesting about Melt palettes for me. They start off really strong and then they decide to sprout legs and start murdering hitchhikers. So, you know, it is what it is. Moving on to these little bubbies. These are the Kevyn Aucoin Contour Eyeshadow Palette. Y'all, I tried with these. I've never found a formula that was just so forgettable. Like, and for the price point, they really shouldn't be. I don't know, there wasn't anything special special about them. These are just normal neutral tone eyeshadows. It wasn't anything life-changing. There wasn't anything shit your pants amazing. It's just eyeshadow that didn't have great longevity. I think the best part about this is the sleek packaging, and that's it. Like, these were a complete waste of fucking time. Then we have the Supreme Nudes, the Quickie, and this is from Artist Couture. I did not play with this one a lot because a lot of these shades, with the exception, I believe, of like Supreme 2.0, is in the original Supreme Nudes palette, and I love that palette, and I will take that palette to the fucking grave with me. But my friend has been eyeing this one. I was like, oh, I can give you this one. So this is definitely one of the better palettes in today's decluttering. And kind of the same goes for this little guy. So this is the mini Natasha, I don't even know, the gold palette, the mini gold palette. This one was fine, but I have the gold palette. I love that shit. Another palette that's gonna go into the grave with me. And again, my friend was like looking at this palette last holiday season and didn't pick it up. So I was like, you know what? You could have the baby gold. Have the baby gold. But this one was good. I feel like it's few and far between when I say something's good from Natasha to Nona. You know what? I just don't think I like Dior shadows in these little backstage cases. I like them in the little 5-pan palettes, but when it comes to these things, I haven't found one that really has been amazing. This one was lackluster. I will say it's better than that green khaki palette. That, to this day, pisses me off to my core. That was like one of the worst palettes ever come into existence. But this one was just okay. I don't know, the colors are very, very sheer when you did try to build them up. They didn't have really great longevity. They started balding after a couple of hours. And it just always felt like something was slightly off. So I don't know. This is just not for me. I like other stuff from the backstage line, but when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, absolutely the fuck not. Look at this tiny little relic. This is from Dose of Colors. Remember the Cutting Edge palette? This one was a good palette. I really enjoyed it. But I just don't reach for it. And I know someone else that could really, really enjoy this color story. When it comes to Dose of Colors, usually they are very hit or miss for me. But this was definitely a hit. And I did have my time with it and I really did enjoy it. But it lives on to someone else. This one, you know, I only want to kind of keep it just for the packaging because the packaging is fucking sick. Like, I love this. This is probably one of the prettier palettes that I own for the outside packaging, but I've had this for a long time, a long time. And it's so funny. The shadows on this, you could tell they're a little aged. They're a little decrepit compared to the holiday palette. That one definitely had a little bit more life than this one. But yeah, I love the packaging. I love this neutral color story. Probably one of my favorite basic bitch palettes of all time. But yeah, it's time for it to go. I kind of wish the brand would release more of these kind of palettes because I miss this. This is cool. While I do appreciate, you know, the mothership palettes or whatever, there's just something about this packaging that is just fucking stunning and we need more of this. But this was a great palette. It's just, it has lived past its prime. And then last but certainly not least, the worst Pat McGrath palette, in my personal opinion, that has ever existed. This is, what is this, the number 6, right? This is the palette that recently came out with the fucking Star Wars sticker. That piece of shit palette. This one, I hated. Oh God. I tried so many times to love this thing. This thing does not love me back. The shimmers are the shimmers that kind of fall into my eye and give me some weird like eye infection. And that's weird because some Pat McGrath palettes do that, but not all of them. Like, was it the Divine Rose 1? The sparkles in that irritated the shit out of me. And this is what it reminds me of. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the side of the palette, but it's just not for me. But yeah, this was just, I don't know, not my favorite color story, but I had to buy it because I'm such a stupid bitch and I really regret making that decision. Actually, if you want to see me rank my Pat McGrath palettes, let me know down below. And yeah, I could rank the ones that I still have in my collection, which there are actually quite a few, but I'm trying to keep the ones that I'm like, I really, really like. I don't want to have anything in my collection that I'm kind of lukewarm about unless the packaging is that amazing where I'm like, you know what, I'll make an allowance for you. But for the most part, I need things that I'm going to love the shit out of because otherwise it's just sad, you know what I mean? Anyway, this one was fucking terrible. So I'm kind of happy to finally get rid of it. Hopefully my friend will enjoy that piece of shit. Anyway, hi. Okay, so those are the eyeshadow palettes that I'm decluttering. I'm going to be decluttering more stuff in like a month or two. I have a lot of blushes and I need to pare some of them down because some of them just look the same. And you know, we got to be practical here. I can only have at least, you know, 500 pink blushes, not 750. So Anyway, now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know down below. What are some things that you have decluttered recently? Let me know because I love hearing from you. And again, I want to say thank you so much to Factor for sponsoring today's video. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, it's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Instagram, and to my beautiful, wonderful YouTube members and patrons, thank you so much for keeping us delicious, disgusting, filthy, trashy, really filthy, really gross, really nasty actually. Garbage boat float, couldn't do without you. Love your adorable little delicious faces, and I just want to gobble you all up so you can live inside my belly and we can be one. If you want to know what's currently on my nails, I will leave that information in the description box down below. And I'll see you little cupcakes later. Bye.